Hello, everyone. Welcome to the panel 2 dedicated to strategies and business models needed to thrive in the era of digital. For a start, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Stefanović, and I'm a manager in management consulting at Deloitte. My field of expertise is in strategy development, company transformation, and performance improvement. Now, even though I'm not working for the gaming industry exclusively, I was fortunate enough to be involved with the industry for the last several years. Therefore, I can say I'm still learning about the trends in this industry, and I believe this panel will be very valuable in that sense, not just to me, but all the other people interested to hear more about the changes currently happening in the field of gaming. But before we get any further, we have two notes from the production team for the audience. The forum has simultaneous English and Serbian translation provided. You can choose Serbian or English channel just by clicking the interpretation button at the bottom of the screen. Also, if you have any questions for the speakers, just send them via Huva app, and our speakers will answer only some of the questions because the time is limited. So back to the panel. We have assembled terrific experts in the gaming industry for this panel. Not only that, I would say that this selection has been done in a way to get a mixture of representatives from various parts of the whole gaming ecosystem. Today we have online and land-based operators with us. We have superb affiliate and a great technology developer. So let's start with introductions from the operator side. First of all, we have Sanja Isakov with us. Hi, Sanja. She's online casino development specialist at MaxBet Group.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So Sanja and her team are cooperating with 16 gaming providers to bring the best online experience within the MaxBet's online casino platform. Next, we have Bojan Šćekić. Hi, Bojan.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Hi. So Bojan is a CEO at Balkan Bet, which he joined as a consultant for digitalization and launching an online platform back in 2016. Bojan has been working in the gaming industry since 2007, so a lot of experience from Bojan's side. Next, we have Tyrone Dobbin. Hi, Tyrone.
Hello.
Tyrone is the managing director of Sport Betting, South Africa's largest sports book. He's also the founder and director of GreatOdds.com, a new multi-juristic African and Eastern European online gaming business. Next, we have Nikola Teofilović. Hi, Nikola.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, Nikola is vice president of Ask Gamblers at Katina Media and a part of its executive management team. Nikola specializes in digital media and e-gaming and has been a C-level professional in tech since 1999. And last but not least, we have Lazar Mucin with us. Hi, Lazar.
Hello to everyone.
Hi. So Lazar is a VP of Strategic Partnership at Ansoft. He's an experienced managing director and executive with over 11 years of experience. So great to have you all, guys. Thanks for joining us. I would start this panel by saying that this industry is in a phase of truly large changes. I think we will all agree with that notion. We see a lot of things changing all around us. And there seems to be a greater focus on online strategies and business models lately. This trend is caused by technology development in several areas, technology areas, such as, let's say, big data and advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, blockchain, virtual reality and augmented reality, and so forth. On the other hand, this trend, this online trend has also been incentivized by the coronavirus pandemic and the resulting social distancing with lockdowns, right? So this brings me to my first question, actually. What strategies and business models are emerging on the global landscape? What seem to be the trends? And can we now talk more, sorry, about some sort of market segmentation, or are we witnessing just one strategy fits all approach to customers? So what is happening? And let's start, I would suggest to start from the technology side, from the technology perspective. So I would ask this question first to Lazar from Ansoft.
Hi, one more time to everyone. Welcome to the panel. Thank you, Ivan, for starting with me firstly. So I will try to be fast to leave the time for all the participants. So regarding I will start with pandemics, and I will just tell one true story what exactly happened to me personally. Due to COVID, before it, I have changed my company from 95% online to 95% land-based company, which was like, really, really crazy. And with the main goal to increase the online business and online revenues, to expand to online, how I would like to call it, just to grow to online. I'm coming from Balkan region. I have started here my career, and let's speak about SEE. So what happened, and I will speak about COVID situation. What happened firstly with technologies? I will start with Africa, for an example. You know that retail in Africa is much more developed because of internet connections and the problems with internet what they have. So we have built satellite streaming for countries in Africa to be easier to reproduce our software like E6 and to put it into the shops and online channels like with easier streaming. This is first thing what we did with technology and how the technology did develop. Then I will give one example from Kenya where M-Pesa had support from National Bank, like 80% of money deposited through M-Pesa payment, it was guaranteed from National Bank that all the amount will be there. So, to teach people and to make them easier to deposit online. What I have noticed that also happened, it is a faster merger and acquisition within the region of Southeastern Europe. Taking what happened that bigger companies started faster taking over smaller companies who had an issue to survive this COVID impact. And this just came really, really fast. We had several acquisitions in Croatia, in Bosnia, in Romania, which happened fast during COVID situation. Regarding the strategies, I will speak. I want to mention payment. Promoting of the payment, expanding payment portfolio, what you can offer, payment solution portfolio, what you can offer to players like an operator. And we were fully focused on how to expand and to add and as well educate our players to use more different online methods of payment. We were speaking, when we are speaking about the payments, we can also we also did adding additional content into casinos and sports betting, content from casino firstly, because sports betting was died completely dead at this time period, and virtuals. Result was just that it was painful probably for regulatory services, where all the regulatory services were occupied and overloaded with requirements. To go directly to the point, the plan should be different and we should work with everything. We should move sportsbook to add for sportsbook casino, virtual games, esports, what is really popular. And we have to be prepared for Generation Z, which is coming. They will not have time to watch a full match of 90 minutes. They don't have patience for this. And we have to think about that and bring it closer to them. It is good because we are pioneers in a lot of things here. We can be pioneers as well in Generation Z offers. What is important to be done, it is to change the trends, how we do approach the markets. I'm speaking from B2B and as well B2C channel, where we are creating full portfolio of all the games and all the things what we can offer from different branches. I mean, sportsbook, casino, esports, virtuals, and to have it like this as well. I think that evolution, what is coming currently everywhere in the world, but we are speaking about SEE, is that we can bring terminals, self-service betting terminals that can help us, for example, during this situation. We do not have extra cost of the employees that are directly influencing our revenues and we are influencing their lives. So to add and to think about how to spread and add the self-service terminals that can self-service them own and players.
Thank you, Lazar. A lot of different perspectives. This was very interesting. a lot of maybe topics to open in the further discussion. So I would like to hear now the let's say the affiliate side of the whole story. So Nicola, if you can share some insights with us, thank you.
Yes, I mean, this is overall macro thing that digital has had a huge push during the COVID situation. Explicitly when it comes to our industry, at first, of course, because there were no sports events, casino got a push, definitely. And revenues from the casino side increased even. And also, of course, due to the changed consumer behavior, people were locked inside and there were not many things to do. But one of them was, of course, to play for fun at the casino. So this is a bit of the impact that we have seen, and otherwise it's not that much. We saw a spike in traffic. I have to also emphasize that as gamblers that I'm representing is a casino affiliate. We have launched a sport page and we're starting to launch some sports content, but we are predominantly a casino affiliate. When it comes to technology and maybe what has got a push, people have been starting to look at new technologies, but according to my experience, it's as it used to be when there are not must-haves, but nice-to-haves. It's still quite, a lot of people are talking about data, a lot of people are talking about AI, a lot of people are talking about VR, but there are just a few examples. One example in AI from our industry is when it comes to the content, and especially actually to sports content. We have seen, and I've looked at AI for different kind of content, but for complex and content, I never so far, and I may have missed stuff, but I haven't found any system provider that can deliver in that segment. But when it comes to light content, sports content, there has been actually AI providers that have shown satisfactory results and that makes our business more efficient. So those are my 2 cents.
I would just like to ask you, do you think that this trend with implementing technology, will it accelerate due to the current situation, or you think that due to, for example, the customer side, that operators are not ready to go further into let's say some sort of digitalization? What is your opinion on this?
It's a little bit case by case. You have these operators that have had in their DNA to try new things. I can mention like one, Slots Million. They were the first to try VR a long time ago. They never got traction, but they want to start to try new things. Some are more traditional. It also depends. If you come from the brick and mortar business, this is a generalization, of course, but those operators tend to be a bit more conservative when it comes to new technology and new things. There are exceptions, of course. But yes, I mean, generally in all industries, and we are in the digital industry already, you see a push on new technologies, new things that, could make all our industries more efficient during these special circumstances. I still think also that, this has been very interested in several perspectives, because nobody would dare to try full remote like everyone was forced to do during these special times. And this is something that gave us a lot of learnings, because we are all basically working digitally, most of us still, because of the COVID situation. So I would say yes, technologies, but I would differ also, as I said, like the focus is primarily on things that can make our work more efficient or make us more profitable. And there are those technologies are being faster implemented, but still like nice to have stuff that depends on on a company to company basis. You know, if you want to be more innovative, if you want to invest, if you want to fail, or if you're more on the safe side, and you know, you have a more conservative approach generally to the industry and market.
So basically, it depends on the business strategy of the company, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, and it has to do with the company culture and the company DNA. Because this can be seen, you know, if it's pushed from, of course, top to bottom. But if your company culture and DNA is to be innovative, to try new things, to be curious, to be, you know, then this is a bit of a business as usual thing. Okay. But so it depends, definitely. But I think that yes, I mean, overall, even the conservative companies have done a push towards being more digital.
Okay, thank you, Nicola, very much. So Tyrone, let's hear your perspective on technology trends and current situation regarding Corona pandemic.
Yeah, firstly, I think yeah, thanks for the opportunity and well done to SE putting this together. It's always really good when industry guys get together and have this collaborative opportunity. I would just also agree with what Nicola's just said in that technology is pivotal and how we use it is critical in our industry. And what we find is there's a lot of us who are only using it to a limited capability. So we've got plenty of opportunity to actually embrace the tools, not just from a product perspective, because everyone's product is almost heading in the same direction. So it's really difficult to still separate yourself from product. Innovation in the market is fairly slow. But what you could do is use that technology that's available to us to really separate ourselves from our competition. And I've seen during COVID, and it's been a catalyst for us utilizing the technology and the data and the insight to really adapt our day-to-day business practices to like get the best results for our business and also to provide the best products and services for our customers.
So basically, if I understood you correctly, you're saying that I don't know, big data, advanced analytics, and these kind of technologies are most influential in this industry.
I think it's they underutilized at the moment. I think the current status is always to, from an operator's perspective, to flash out the best product or the most innovative product or the newest release. That doesn't always work in all territories. There's also equal opportunity to really use that technology that's available to you as the business operator and identify that you're serving the right content to the right markets.
Okay, so basically this coronavirus pandemic, right? It influenced, as we said, a lot of industries, especially this industry. So how are your competitors or your company? How are you coping with the current situation? I'm not talking just about the technology side, but more the focus here would be more on your strategy.
Look, we were rubbing our hands together in the beginning, and it's an unfortunate, we're a digital first business, and we had these visions of retail having closed doors and online industry growing like crazy. That didn't materialize, and that's because of what I just mentioned before. We needed to adapt to how we really recognize who our customers are, what they want, and service them with the things they're looking for rather than the things we think they need. And it was a really big learning curve, and one I'm proud to say we managed quite quickly. The other things that really stood out was we've always prided ourselves on being a digital first business and being an innovation first business, and that actually has saved us in some respect, where we've been robust enough to handle I mean, being a sports only business in South Africa, where you're not permitted to take wagers on casino events or slot machines. With the erosion of sports, we didn't see the erosion of our business. We saw this robust movement of players to the new products we supply. That's because we work closely with our partners who are able to quickly onboard or react and onboard the new events and new markets. I mean, who would have thought what table tennis would spike as it did, or that indoor darts would have these new leagues that could be played and so popular, at least in our territories.
Okay, thank you very much. Nicely put. So I would ask now Sanja Isakov, what is the perception from Serbian point of view, from an operator, predominantly working in Serbia?
Hi all again. I'm coming from one young and very prospective team that I'm really proud of. I would like to mention this because it was very important during this pandemic time to be unique and to be all together. And I will focus, as you said, on our region, and I will mention again that our market is very different from the rest of the part of European market. And when I say this, I primarily mean on a dependence between on-land and online business. So Minja already mentioned this in the first panel, but I would like to mention again because this was also one of the things that was very important during this time. I will mention the following important things that were crucial for us of the development of online business, not only during the pandemic, but also otherwise. So I will focus on online payments. Lazar already mentioned, but I think it was very important for us. Focus on customer service and focus on content strategy. So regarding online payments, we try to transfer all payments on location on other online payment methods. And we use model of stimulation. So for example, we use classic automatic bonuses, primary on card payments, and also worked on solution to make these payments simple as possible. Of course, the challenge was the fact that players here don't use as much as online payments as they use in the rest of the part of the Europe, and the most deposits are still made in our shops. So this was, as I said, a big challenge. But now I can say that 40% of our payments are done online, and this trend is growing. So this pandemic time actually accelerated this process, which was, I can say, positive for online business. Of course, an important role in helping players to navigate and helping players to do the payments online were our customer service. This was our frontline operation during this time, not only, as I said, not only during the pandemic time, also in general, it's also important in online business. So I can say that we are I can say that we are only one on the market that have support 24 hours a day. And customer support is our major factor in players retention, especially for VIP players. So to retain their life cycle and increase deposit. So basically, we have currently customer support and customer care at the same time. So I think this was very, very important. Regarding content strategy, I mentioned this, that is like a third important thing. So especially during this time when people are staying home and players consuming much more content online, this had influence on players' attitudes and also had impact on content strategy in iGaming in general. So I don't know, as you may know, but affiliate is not regulated in Serbia, even in the Balkan region. And we really on social media for acquisition of new players and Google ads, which are, maybe you know that are restricted in some region, for example, in Montenegro and Bosnia. And we found we found actually in whole this story that the biggest potential was our digital team with us. So also in line with this, we found that strengthening the creative team in-house is also proven to be the best solution. So in-house solution is proven that is better in comparison to outsource.
This is like in the long run, or?
It's, as I said, these three things that I'm speaking about, it's for a long term, not only during the pandemic time, it's crucial for online business in general. So, yes.
Okay.
So, of course, we invest in new marketing tools by which we track our performance against the competition and trends and modify the strategy accordingly. So I know that from our digital team, I know that advertising prices have jumped significantly, the price per click jumped significantly, but the performance of the campaigns has been getting better and better. And our players have started to get used to online, and they becoming present more and more. So also big challenge in this whole story is actually advertising restrictions. And we had the problems with the rejection of the campaigns. And this was, let's say, the biggest challenge. And of course, the different territories has a different restrictions. And this is something that we're facing every day. And what I can say is that this is something that is teach us every day, and of course indicates new opportunities to find some new solution. But overall, as I said, I will not speak more because we need more time for other topics. But let's say that these three things was most important for us. So online payments, customer service, and content strategy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful overview of challenges you faced. Bojan, I would like to ask you from the perspective of a CEO of an operator, how do you see these trends, and how did the coronavirus pandemic impact your organization?
Well, for the coronavirus, I think it's just a fast forward of the things that should come, you know. Now it's just the faster the thing, because I mean the digitalization will come today or tomorrow, it will come, you know. And now when the retail channel was basically gone, you just crushed the wall. So some person who didn't want to consider the online, basically they just tried it, and of course we all know it's good. So basically it just made it onboarding for the online train a lot more easier, because other channels were not, you know, possible. But I don't see any big impacts in the way that we do our business and in the way that we create our products. I think basically when it's gone, yeah, it will be faster for the online, and online will grow more faster than if there was no corona. But I think that will be the main impact, you know, just the sheer fastness of the procedure, you know, digitalization of the business. Regarding the other trends, what's going on right now, I would say that basically dependence on the technology is the number one thing. You can be a best bookie in the world, you can be a best casino service provider in the world, but if you don't have, you know, the technology as a major part of your strategy, you're in a big problem, because you're totally dependent, you know, on the feed providers, on the technological providers. Are you going to do in-house thing? Are you going to outsource it? Those are the main things that will make or break you in a really short amount of time. In a year or 2 or 3, you can really be in problem if you don't sort those things up. For all other trends, I agree totally with Nicola regarding some hype things. I don't think that I don't really need to know if players really want it. And I don't think that in next period they will become a major factor mainstream. Yeah, there will maybe some narrow niche or something like that for the promotional activities, but I don't see them that they will really be important for us, for the players. if we would need to pinpoint, let's say, a couple of things, the trends that are going on for me, one is really the true omnichannel experience. Because especially if you have a retail operation, earlier it was enough, when you said a multi-channel, you just put the products on a lot of the channels and then you are on the channel. But basically it's not anymore like that. Now you really need to make it seamless. And I think that technologically we are up there that we can do it. That when the player interacts with the brand on a couple of channels, and not just in a way of the customer support, but all the interactions with the brand, they really need to be a part of the same ecosystem. The same values of the brand, the good things must be confronted on the all channels. That is something that is really trend right now. And even the big system like banks or some other industries are having it like a parallel ways. Okay, you will use the application, then you will come in the store, and basically you are totally out of the online, getting in the retail. Those are totally parallel ways. I think the trend is to make it a seamless experience. I don't know, you have money in your e-wallet or the online platform, then you come in the retail shop, and basically the only way to use that money is to pull out the money from your online account. So you're out of that ecosystem, the online, and just entering the cash in the retails, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it's more about the overall customer experience, not just about some specific products or services. It's more about the whole customer journey. Is that so?
It goes through customer journey, but also in the creation of the products. Of course, each channel has its benefits, and that's the reason why the players are using it. I don't know, if they want to socialize, they will come to the retail shop, but in the evening if they want to be home, they will use the online. But the point is that you need to make that kind of environment that, I don't know, if you have a VIP player on the online and he comes to the shop, you are not going to give him a low amount incentive voucher, And currently that is going on, because currently the channels are really parallel,
Yeah. I mean, I believe it's very important to explain that it's not just about adding a lot of features, right, on different channels. It's about combining these features to create as much exciting and as much pleasant journey for the customer. So this is the thing, not just to be competitive in terms of adding new features, new functionalities, etc.
Yeah. It's exactly. It's not like that. You just need to put everything and every functionality in every channel. This is more of the DNA and deep technological question. How are you going to make these things that I'm talking about? That when he interacts with your brand, he has the same feel on every channel that he used to interface, to interact with the brand. And the other things is, of course, the payment processing, especially on the mobile. Here in Serbia, we are a bit late in regard to that, and I think that will be the trend in the following years to make it safer, to make it more accessible for guys to deposit through the mobile phones, because now the experience on the mobile phone is not so good when you try to deposit, on the online platforms. And the third part is something that I think Nikola also mentioned and you in the start. It's the AI, the machine learning and everything else. I see it like a trend, and how can we use it? It's one to say, I want to use artificial intelligence in school, but how are we going to use it? I see it right now, it could materialize on two parts. One is basically the things that players can see, and it's something, let's say, Amazon is doing. So preferences, suggestions, how are we going to influence their behavior while giving them, sense that it's catered to them. Because today, if you see, diversification is non-existent on the product side. You can take any operator from a smaller markets. You can see their product, see their casino offer, sport betting offer, and put it in comparison with, let's say, some of the biggest guys, GVC or I don't know, Bet365. It will basically be the same. They will take the feed from the BetRadar, they will have a rev share, or they will pay, but they will have everything same, So I think on the front side that's going to be done. on the backside, for me, that's the most interesting part, because I think that the new technologies will enable marketers to not be dependable on the high volume big data teams. You know, I think that the current trend is that basically some of the softwares could offer you machine learning things in a way that you can optimize and automate your campaign if you're a modern marketer, and then you don't need, you know, a big data team and expensive big data softwares. So that's the way in which we will use those technology to influence the you know, the behavior of the customers. So I think that's mainly the three trends in which things are going right now.
Okay, thank you very much. So with all this in mind, in terms of
can
technology,
I comment on this?
Yeah, sure.
For interrupting you. No, I think one thing that you mentioned, Bojan, is super important, and that's something that I know both operators and those affiliates that have high ambitions are focusing on, and it's the customer journey, and it's exactly what Bojan says. Know your player, know your user, and give him a bespoke experience. So based on data, based on intel that you have about the player, give him a personalized experience, learn to know him, learn what to communicate to him or not, what content to cater to him. This is an area where I think there will be a lot of focus and a lot of improvement, and also a lot of investments in the future.
Thank you, Nicola. This is a great takeaway. So, as I said, with all this in mind, I must ask you now, how viable are new business models? It's not just about technology anymore, but I mean, it's not just about technology, it's about regulatory frameworks as well. So how viable are new business models under the current regulatory frameworks? And if they're not viable, what can operators do to adapt? I mean, I believe this is a question that we can all ask. And first, I would like to hear Tyrone, to hear his experience from outside of Serbia.
Sure. So, I mean, we're a new business in a lot of new territories. Often, this is our model. We go into a new licensed territory and we establish ourselves, and so on. What we've learned, or what we think is critical over the experience of the last 15 years, is don't go to the market because you hear that there's some opportunity there, or because you can see the local operators are doing really well. I think you need to go into the market when you know what you can offer to that market alongside the existing players, and how you can adapt your product, because it won't fit in with that market that you're entering. I've seen it time and time again, and we also guilty of it, taking a product into a certain marketplace, convinced we're going to be offering the player something better, and it just not working. And you have to be able to be quick to react so that your business is viable. You need to monitor take all the learnings you can in the beginning, and just I think the word I'm looking for is be super reactive to what you're discovering and what you're learning, because otherwise you aren't going to be viable for very long. If you're going to wait around with your existing technology for the players to see the light, it's never going to happen. You really need to be nimble and reactive, and before entering the markets, clearly understand what are you coming in there with of value.
And your perspective on regulatory frameworks. I mean, yeah, we can talk about marketing.
So this is a very good point, and one I wanted to mention earlier. Another catalyst of that COVID outcome is around how quickly regulators around Africa are actually embracing this digital environment. Before there were so many other challenges to deal with. Let's just park this on the side. Now the conversation is, hey, there's an opportunity here, not just to protect our players from being exploited from international operators, but also to earn revenues, and let's establish a proper framework that sets out the landscape for proper long-term investments into the various territories. And the regulatory approach has actually been one where I get to proudly say Africa has been super fast and reactive with regards to payment space and mobile banking. They actually world leaders in certain aspects. It's not often you get to say that about Africa, that digital banking is seamless. It's so quick, it's so easy. You can do anything from your mobile phone. But the migration towards regulations, keeping up with those advancements in technology, has been slow up until now, where we're seeing a lot more effort from the regulator and policymakers around embracing the innovation and technology.
Okay, thanks. It sounds really great. I mean, it sounds great. Didn't have an idea, that Africa is so advanced in terms of technology.
Africa is large, so it's very difficult to just group it and say Africa. I mean, it's 54 different countries. There's Francophone, French-speaking Africa and English-speaking Africa. West and East is very different to each other, but there are pockets of intense innovation where the stuff that will come out of there will surprise you. And yeah.
Oh, great.
And I think the operators that go into these markets not ready to react and adapt are the ones that aren't going to have a business for very long.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sanja. How is our operator coping with these regulatory frameworks?
I mean, the changes
yes, in the regulatory framework area.
When you say the changes, I'm basically mean on AML and GDPR, and I think changing regulations such as this that I mentioned will increase responsibility and will reduce the risk. But not only that, for operators, this means new investments. New investments in new technologies, in new softwares. So necessary risk assessments and analysis, not only on the level of players, but this will go deeper for each business partner. And I think this will lead not only in investments in new softwares, in new technologies. This will, of course, this means changes in teams and in new manpower. So this is basically my opinion regarding the new regulation. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanja. And Bojan, what's your opinion on this topic?
Well, basically, when you put, in the same sentence, the new business model and the current regulatory framework, you have problem. Yeah, because all new business models are coming either from the ID and then from the technological aspect, the innovation that are going to enable you to do that, to materialize the new ID. And from our experience, the regulatory framework will be a couple of years or more late, to apprehend all those innovations that are possible. Because then you have a problem, because if you are a company that is that have high compliance standards, you will basically miss all those things where the framework is not complete and transparent. And then you have a danger, because if there are some competitors, especially if the penalties are low and the control is not so great, basically they will be aggressive in those kind of fields where you can interpret the law in this or that way, and they will push the edge on those cases, and the law is unfortunately always will be late for those kinds of things. For all businesses, if you want to invest, you really need a clear framework, and to know is it safe, are you getting the real interpretation, or you can be in trouble. So then if you are really compliant, you don't want to mess with that, of course. And what I see right now is basically what can we do? The best way is complete transparency and communication with the state and law authorities, for me. That is the only way where the framework can make that way that basically the betting and gambling is safe for the players, but it is also, the framework that is not killing the innovation, but is giving the chance to companies to explain to the state, because it's also, the lawmakers, they really have a tough task. It's not easy for them. to comprehend all the innovation, all the technology, and to cater for the well-being of the players, you know, and the industry at the same time. Yeah. So as you now see in the West, you know, there is a big wave of, you know, just putting enormous limits on the business providers and saying, okay, guys, you are earning a ton of money. We will put a limitation. You will earn a lot less, but you will still earn a lot of money. But we are going to guard the well-being of the population. You know, currently here it's not yet, you know, in that way. But I think that also in those kind of procedures, it's not possible to do it in an efficient way if there is no communication between the operators and the state law authorities. That's the good thing about, let's say, the law in Serbia. In Serbian country, there was for the first time some communication between, you know, the state authorities and the working groups of the operators. I will just give you a short example of that time frame that is between the law and the innovation. When we started with the self-betting terminals, you know, and we were late for the European markets, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. So we put it on the retail around 2.5 years ago. The law would say that the place where you put the bet on, where you can pay the bet, needs to have basically a man or a woman, you know, a guy. It needs to have a PC, a printer, and a counter, basically. So then you took a self-service betting terminal, and if you put it on the wall, it's not compliant. But if you put it on a piece of plank and you just get somebody near it, some cashier, then it's compliant. So you see that basically they don't have understanding and they're falling behind the timeline of the innovations and the legal framework for it to work.
I'd just add that's, in my experience, pretty consistent with regulators in most jurisdictions that are emerging. One thing I would add that we've found very useful is when your regulator has that appetite to work with the licensees, not to be authoritative, but to say, hey, let's work together, let's be collaborative. There's so much room for progress in policy making. You get to start defining policy that's more objective based than restrictive. You must do X. It's rather, we must achieve Y or we must achieve X. And then it allows that innovation to flourish where people can come up with solutions and technology to still achieve the outcome that the regulator or policymaker is looking to achieve or protect.
Nice. I agree totally. Yeah.
Thank you. So I realize this question is intended more for operators, but maybe if Nikola or Lazar, if you have to add something to this topic.
I can add something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something, Lazar? You can go before me if you want. Okay. Of course. I mean, this is hugely affecting us as affiliates because the operators are those who are pushing compliance down to the affiliates. And Catena Media has, I guess, the largest legal team in our industry. But this affects our business a lot. All of us know about the regulation that is going to happen and be effective of, I think, it's the 21st of July in Germany. Germany is a huge market. From the 1st of January 2019, we had the regulation in the Swedish market. And on the topic of the regulators communicating with the industry, I think you're completely right. And I think that, and this, of course, it depends on who is in power, what kind of political party, if it's leftist or rightist or something in between. Generally, more capitalistic parties tend to communicate more and collaborate more, and most left-oriented parties are more authoritative and are seeing the industry as bad guys. Generalization, of course, but just one example of this generalization is in Sweden, where you have this guy called Ardalan Shekarabi, who is, hating the industry and making it really difficult. And what has that led to in the affiliation business? A lot of searches on no licensed casinos. And is that what you want to achieve as a regulator? Probably not. you are moving players to an unsafe environment through pushing the industry with sometimes completely absurd things. So interesting topic, a lot of compliance. UK is also a huge market, and I would say the pioneer market when it comes to being fully regulated. And we have seen a lot of pushes that are really tough, and a lot of operators putting out or not investing anymore in that market. But I think by the end of the day, there will be a balance, because still I think last year or something, Bet365 was the highest taxpayer in the UK. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think it was something like that. And this industry exists, and I think doing it as good as we all can and taking the responsibility to do so is the right approach from all sides, both from regulators and us, especially us who are operational in the industry, to give back to society, to be responsible, to help problem players, to do whatever we can to provide a safe environment. As you probably all know, West Gambers has a feature of its complaint system, and through that system I'm very happy to share with you that we have been able to retrieve over $35 million to players that had disputes with online casinos. So, and this is a great thing that the founder of AG focused on from the beginning, and it's on the user and providing the user value, while a lot of affiliates are just pushing top lists with the operators they have best deals with and not taking responsibility to whom they are sending the traffic. So yeah, those are some perspectives from the affiliation side. And also you have to have in mind that our industry, if you look at the US and some states, Romania, other markets, are also licensing affiliates. So that's going to be interesting to follow that trend as well. I think it's a good trend. I think it's good that affiliates also are being regulated if done properly.
Agreed. Okay, Lazar, do you have something to add?
Of course, not too many things is left for me to add after really good points from my colleagues Nikola, Bojan, and Tyron and Sanja. What I can add is just an example of Slovakia. What they did, the Slovakian market for casino was closed, and there was a state monopoly for National Lottery of Slovakia only to operate online casino. And from 2020, from 1st of January of 2020, it was open to other competitors. There was like regulatory problems after COVID happened, and there is just stuck for the whole market. You cannot, the same experience as just putting it more closer for exact examples. And for an example, they wanted to stimulate the land-based, smaller land-based operators who have license. They're doing licensing every 2 years. And if they apply for online license, they will then have land-based license or on-land license for 5 years. So now everything is stuck, and instead everyone to start from 1st of March this year, they are still not live, or they're going to be live at the end of the year. So that means that all the plans and all the things what we from technology side, for example, we're planning and preparing for the market, entering the market like technology company, were reduced and moved for more than 10 months. So I understand fully the bottlenecks what operators mostly have, but the same thing and the same story is for technology partners. And I fully agree with whatever my colleagues already have mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have received several questions from the audience, but no, there's not a lot of time to answer all of them, of course. But what I would select is this one, and it's related to esports. So I would just rephrase it. So what is the impact of esports on our industry? What is happening there? So maybe whoever wants to answer, or maybe to start with their own, but just a quick answer, so to hear maybe several sides to the story.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm repeating myself a little. I think every market is different. We can't say this is going to fit everything. If I was in Asia, I'd have a very different answer to what I'm about to have if I'm in North America, or maybe even some Western European markets. But in terms of my perspective and the markets that I'm experienced in, which are around Africa predominantly, and soon to be in Eastern Europe, the consensus around esports that we see is right now it's not a gap for our traditional customers. It hasn't even sparked any interest in their change of betting patterns whilst there was a dip in sports. So what we started thinking about is actually the way that esports is presented as a plugin is probably not the smartest thing to do. What we should be looking at, instead of bringing the esports technology onto our sites, we should be pushing the odds from us as bookmakers into those esports environments. Can we provide that audience with what we're good at, rather than taking what they display and offer as content and selling it to our consumer? I think there's already an established consumer base out there playing esports. The challenge obviously will be around the regulatory side. How do we ensure that this is only visible to the right age people, those people who have expressed upfront a desire to engage in that sort of content? So there's obviously numerous challenges, but for me, the question isn't around taking new content streams and selling it to our existing market, but to how do we as a business in the betting space expose ourselves to these new markets, being esports being one of them.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to contribute to this topic?
Yeah, basically for esports. Yeah, Sanja, you can go on. I will follow you.
Okay, so sorry, Bojan.
Just to be really quick, because we're like 5 minutes left.
I would like just to mention that we are looking at these sports and something that we are investing in now, and that will bring us benefits in years to come. And we are working intensively to make our offer good as possible when it's come to esports. And we also introduced a new provider, CIC, and I don't know, we are trying to make our offer attractive as possible and to follow the trends in the betting industry. We didn't notice some large increase, so this esports didn't bring us expected growth, but we will work to have as many esports as possible, and of course we want players to recognize us as a market leader in this segment. So,
okay, thank
short
you.
for me.
Thanks. Bojan, you were saying
short,
something?
I would just suggest that everybody looks at it at the two different parts. You know, one is the part of these sports which is known to our players, old school players. Basically, when they see a FIFA, they will have short markets that are familiar with, and that is something that I would always suggest for you to broaden the offer with that kind of offer. Short markets, live betting, that they will play it, streamed matches. The other things are those hardcore really sports, basically regarding, the Counter-Strike or something like that. That is really a tough, market to crack. I don't think that those kind of players who play that kind of games are ready just to start betting because you are going to, sponsor one tournament or two tournaments. I think it will be a really, really big project in, merging the betting business and basically the e-gaming part.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
If I may, okay. Sure. So I will just repeat myself from the beginning. If you all guys remember that what I have mentioned, that we all have to prepare all the trends for everyone. What for all the players and the group of players. That means as well that I think that the key of success is to do segmentation in the proper way, including especially AI, what colleagues already have mentioned, to do personalization and personalized content for all the things and segments and players what do we have in our operation or technology solutions, and to provide a perfect content plan to personalize content with perfect segmentation plan. I think that this is the best key for success, and this is what is related as well for esports and what I have spoken about Gen Z, which is coming, just adding to this. It will have added value for sure. So,
thank you, Lazar. And Nicola, maybe some final thoughts from your side?
Yeah, final thoughts on esports, it definitely hasn't. I mean, even though if you look at the percentage, rise during the COVID. It's huge in numbers, but from extremely low levels. So esports, from a betting perspective, hasn't gained any traction. It was a bit pushed forward, but now when the regular sport event comes back, we'll see how that will affect esports moving forward. But as mentioned before in this panel, esports is a bit of a different beast, and the betting on it hasn't, from my perspective, got any huge traction.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Well, I believe it's time to wrap up this panel. I think we heard a lot of great insights from all of you. So thank you very much for joining us and taking the time to add some value to this panel. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to the audience. Big thank you to everyone. And I hope until the end of the day, we will hear a lot of great speakers and to get some more insights on various topics. So thank you once more.
Can I add a last word?
Sure,
thank you.
Sure,
Firstly, thanks to everyone. But you mentioned there were quite a few questions. I'm just opening my LinkedIn profile out to whoever still has questions. You're welcome to contact me, reach out, and we can have conversations or discussions around the industry.
Great.
Same
Thank you,
all.
Teron.
Same for all, I believe,
Yes.
also from my side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.